In this video, I want to talk about the difference between an anxious avoidant versus a dismissive avoidant, and what is the whole reasoning behind the avoiding. And so we're going to start with the anxious avoidant. That is something that I had suffered from most of my life until I understood what I was going through and learning myself, and was able to regulate my nervous system. And that is an unintentional avoidance. And that is because early in your childhood, you are put in a situation, typically the first 5 years, where you're learning safety, security, trust, things like that, and the caretakers. So whoever's primarily in your life and around you is somebody that is dysregulated themselves. And so one of the best examples is alcoholism. If you have one of those caretakers that drinks a lot, they are somebody, not only do they have a dysregulated nervous system, but they have that hot and cold regulation, is the best way to put it. And so moments that they can have their drink or have their smoke or whatever's going on, cannabis users, doesn't matter. And there's benefits to cannabis, but we're not going to talk about it in this video. This is the part where it becomes dysregulated and unregulating the nervous system. So when they have their alcohol, their cannabis, or whatever puts them back into that better mood, more relaxed, they're more predictable, they're more warm and more comforting and more caring. And that's where you get that, you feel secure, you feel like you can trust, that kind of thing. But then when they sober up, they don't have it. That is when they are unpredictable. So that warm, loving feeling that you share with them, that trust, no longer is there. And so your nervous system becomes unregulated because you don't know what the outcome is with that parent. Are they going to be warm and loving, or are they going to be dismissive and angry, or whatever that unpredictable feeling is? So you don't have that trust, you don't have that security. And so when that parent has that hot and cold dysregulated nervous system, it creates your dysregulation, because I don't know, what is the outcome going to be? Am I going to be warm and comforting and I can trust and I have that security? Or is it something that you're going to lash out and be angry and be, avoidant yourself? And so you develop this unregulated nervous system because you don't know what the outcome is going to be with that person. So this starts when you're younger and as an adolescent, and then it goes into relationships and even your parenting. And so your anxiousness is not intentional or a choice. It's the way your nervous system is regulated based on, I want you close, I want that warmth, I want that trust and that security, but I don't know what the outcome's going to be, so then I push you away. So they have that hot and cold feeling, but it's an anxiousness through their unregulated nervous system. I was one of those. I was able to overcome that, regulate my nervous system once I learned myself and understood what I was working with and could actively work on it to make it better. And so we're going to talk about the dismissive avoidant. And so that is also something that I experienced multiple times in my life, from parenting to romantic relationships. This could even happen in the workplace. This can happen anywhere. And so what helped me understand this the very most is actually coaching another woman, giving her guidance and understanding from a dismissive avoidance perspective. And so when it comes to the anxious avoidant, it's non-intentional. It's that dysregulation because you don't know what the outcome's going to be. Dismissive avoidant is an intention. They choose to avoid. So it's not I worry and I'm anxious about the outcome. It's more of, does this serve me? Do I get anything from this? Because if it doesn't benefit me, I'm going to avoid it and push it away. So when this comes to same thing, parenting, first 5 years of your life, if you dealt with it then, in romantic relationships, in the workplace, if it's something that doesn't benefit them or serve them, they choose intentionally to avoid it. And so anxious avoidant is non-intentional. It's just dysregulation and can absolutely overcome it with time and co-regulation with another person. That I did it individually without co-regulation, so you can do it without, but it's even better when you have somebody that is regulated and you can work on it together. But then when it comes to dismissive avoidant, that is an intention and that is a choice, and they choose to avoid whatever that situation is if there's no benefit or anything in it for them. And so there's a big difference between the two, even though they're both avoidant. One is intentional, one is not.